Hey everybody, welcome to this channel. Stay 1981. So today I got something in the mail that I ordered, and it's something I want to talk about because for a long time I've been wanting to show what the title will be. So the title hasn't been created just yet, but it's going to happen soon. So if you guys, I'm going to do a comparison. So this will not be what I'm going to unbox, but I currently have this right here. And if you guys don't know what this is on social media all over the place. This is an OMP Gen 2 M2. It is one of my favorite helicopters that I have in that size, which is a 180. And I currently have that in. I haven't done a lot with it, but to show you what I've done, I'm gonna flip you. I have it housed in a Harbor Freight Apache case, and it has a blade. Don't know the exact tail of that, but it's a blade. It's a blade RC case for that, or tail, stabilizer tail for that. And what I did is I brought that out because I'm going to open that up in a minute. Again, I want to see just how this is going to come out of the box. But this has arrived, and I'm going to put you guys here for just a minute. I'm going to reverse so I can talk to you guys while I unbox it. This comes out of A-Main. I purchased it about a week ago and had to wait a little bit to get it. Bad weather. I don't know if it's from the fires in California still or whatever. I know they've got some other stipulations going on. But yeah, the title of the video will be on shortly. This is no new news, but I'm going to tell you why I decided to purchase this. And that, like I said, be mindful, that was the M2 from OMP Hobby. And that was a Gen 2 M2, last of the carbon fiber skids and everything, because I ended up going with this. I got this from A-Main. I got this guy. And I just want to say, put it out there that Jonas and Bert made a really good video. And especially Jonas with all his insights on this helicopter. This thing is going to be an amazing machine, because this thing is doing a lot of stuff that the typical M2 didn't have the ability to do. So I'm going to flip you guys around so you can see how this goes. So I've unboxed it out of the main sleeve, okay, and I got this, I'm graced with this cellophane wrapped M2 MK2. Now, it's typical, they just use a random color for the model that you're gonna get, and then they mark on the side of the box, as always, the one that you're gonna get. And of course you can see there, mine is the Charm Orange. I did it for paying homage to my original orange one that I got. I've always wanted to get the EVO of the last few years, and I just held off. And the reason why I did is because I kind of had a feeling they were going to point with another direction with the software, because I noticed a trend. They were doing like a version 1 and a version 2 of the software, but it just didn't give you all the adjustments and things that you're looking for in the versions of the M2 that they had. And when they brought the EVO out, the EVO brought a lot of things out that the original M2 didn't stack to all the way. So they gave it a better motor, they gave it a better fly barless head. They did all these advancements and things. They even changed the frame, which was the big thing, was that rigid back end, which I will point all the enhancements out of this. But just like everything else they've done, they always have to set the bar to be better, one step ahead every time. So I am really impressed when I know what this has in it and what it does. Like I said, I am I'm very, very excited. I will say that the M2 does not disappoint, but the MK2 just has the newer software, and it goes above and beyond with the version that I call the version 1 M2 EVO. I call it the version. This is like the version 2 EVO. It's the second variant of the EVO that they've done. So this is the more just an updated version, but it's got a lot of things that they didn't do. So here's the sleeve, popping it off, and then I'm going to turn you guys around and up. So of course you're graced with the fiber case like everybody shows on their channels. And you open it up. Of course you got the warning labels. Warnings of what not to do, more than likely. A setup sheet on how to set this up if you're going to set it up with a radio. We'll hold that off for last. This is going to be a fluorescent orange. Of course, they give you the packet full of goodies. Spare zip ties, linkages, links to make up a link if you break it, and then the linkage eyelets, and then you get the I guess that's Velcro. Yeah, it's Velcro. It's 3M with a Velcro. It's Velcro tape, so you can tape on what adapter, because they give you a Bluetooth adapter, which is this guy right here. Bluetooth, and you have to make up the ends on it to hook it in. Like I said, not too bad. You get a leveler for your swash plate, which I think is pretty cool. Silica pad, of course. Anything else in there? Nope. Guess that would be where you put your battery. That's like one of the two of the places where you can get extra batteries, and they could throw it in there. If you got extra batteries, I opted and just got the heli as it comes. And I'm going to tell you right now, just feeling that versus my original M2, it has a lot of weight to it compared to what I'm picking up now versus that. This is probably a little bigger than my M2, but I'm going to bring out my older M2 for a difference. Alright, so we'll bring this guy out one more time. Now it's not going to be a complete fair comparison, and because I say that, because number one, I don't have a battery hooked in this, but the comparison is got a change in the tail. I changed out and opted to put a different tail on that, which means I have the screws hooked into this, and I put shims. I shimmed it with little spacers or washers. So picking this up, this has a battery in it. Let me put you guys down. I'm going to put the battery that comes with the M2 original in there really quick, just so I can get a feel if it's any change in size, or not size, but a change in feel of how it should feel, because I'm kind of curious to know, does it change the overall feel of the heli? I don't think it will, not that much, but it's nice to know if you're getting in a heli that's the same weight or not. We're gonna find out. Like I said, not a big deal. Let's just put this on real quick. Slide this on. Not like it has to be hooked up or anything. Just pop it in real quick. There we go. Alright. Just from, I don't know, feeling both versions. Close my case. So picking that up and then picking this thing up, I can tell you right now, just from a standpoint, it looks like that my new M2 sits a little lower than the stock M2. Let me put them skid to skid here so you get a difference. Okay, that's skid to skid, and you can definitely tell that my new one here is longer by a little bit, not by much, but it probably not is showing up on the camera, but it looks like, just from looking at that, it looks like, yeah, see, it's a little taller, a little smidge longer, I think, but picking this thing up is going to be heavier. If you'd have to have it in your hand to understand, but I'm picking that one up, and it just feels heavy to me. Then picking this one up, it's not real heavier difference, but it just has a little bit of a slight heavier, just to me, a little bit of a heavier feel, just a little bit, not a lot. It's not night and day, or man, it's a massive difference. It's like, no, it's nothing massive. It's just different. There you go, side by side. So the canopy sticks out a little bit more, and it's taller on, I think, my M2 MK2, this one, and then my other one over there is my version 2, my OG version 2. But this has been a really good helicopter. You can still get these. These are still able to be purchased on OMP Hobby, and there's places you can get those still. It is not a bad it's not bad at all. But I was just going to point out real quick, just walk you through the differences one last time. Let's pop off the canopy really quick. Phone down, I can't do both things. I'm going to take the canopy off the M2 MK2, and I'm going to pop off the canopy off of the OG M2. And like I said, I've had a really good chance to fly both. I would tell you right now, I haven't flown the MK2, so I can't tell you, but if I had the chance to fly them both, I could tell you that they both, I'm just going to tell you that I know that the MK2 is going to fly really well, but because I've never flown it, I can't state that. So, but I will tell you that I've never had any problems really with my not my MK2, but my M2. It's very touchy on the throttle, but yep. So this is going to be the flight controller here, and this is the newer rendition. And then what they did is they went from the DFC head, which is this powder coated, head here, and people talk about it. They switched from this and the linkages that this has, which is this linkage style here. They switched up the swash plate a little bit, and they changed it from this, which is DFC, direct flight control head, to a more intricate head with the more metal parts, linkages, and this is really found on more of your newer aged helicopters to date. The only thing more they did, which blew me away a little bit when Jonas did, and the fellows at OMP did this in Sunnysky, is they bumped the motor spec higher than the Evo they just did before this one, which it really, it needed that as much as it did, but they did it. They put a holder here so you can one-handedly put your battery in with this little holder here. They changed the flight control parameters now, because now you have not only a Bluetooth capability in this, but the software links with that Bluetooth. So that is where things kind of take a dive between this, leaving it light years behind, and then the Evo of its before version. And then if that wasn't enough, like I said, the head, they changed it up a little bit more than the Evo. They made some improvements on the linkages again. They improved the swash by putting the ball links they put 2 of them inward. The inner ones in here, they go inward right here. They're more in. And then on the outer ones, they kicked them out. I don't know how. I think they say it's like 5 or 15%, whatever that is. And that makes it have a more slowed down or more of a sluggish feel. But that sluggish is comparing it to a more balance in the long run. And then when they boost it up with the motor, it's going to then take that sluggishness right back out of it. So it's a win-win, because now they bumped the motor even higher in the stator department, and they bumped up the tail higher again. So like I said, you're getting like everything they could throw at this thing, they're throwing at it, and it's just I mean, I just say holy crap. I mean, it's just mad. It's just mad nuts. So you have that. The frame is an all carbon fiber. They also took in the people's requests to make the landing skids now white, which is kind of what I kind of took an homage to with the tail. So like I have white accents here on the carbon fiber skids. Well, what I did is I did kind of the same thing that Jonas was getting, and people at OMP were getting responses on about the skids. That's why I did this, so you could see it better. And this really does work. This tail gave it a little bit more of a balance, but at the same time gave it more visual aid. I can see it better, especially when I'm flying it when the sun's going down in golden hour. I can see it a little better. I don't recommend you fly it in golden hour until you got some time on it, but I'll just tell you right now, that flies really well for what it is. It's a little twitchy, but dude, it's how old a helicopter? From 2020 to 2020 helicopter, and it flies as good as it did out of the box. I mean, it has no problems whatsoever. But comparing that right now to this is like night and day, and I'm going to tell you why. So they went with that DFC swap to the head because you get a little bit of play in the head. People have already made comments about it, and I'm just going to state it too. You get play in the head. The head gets a vibration. And to point that out, I'll just use the original to show you that. So if you're looking at this from here, if you're looking at the head across here, you'll get a little bit of a rock this way, and then you get a little bit of play slightly in the swash plate. That little bit of play adds to resonance, and that resonance adds to the grips, and the linkage is pushing down on the swash plate. Now you're going to get the same idea on the EVO head, both EVO designs, but because it's fly barless, you have more stiffening and dampening ability because of that, and that mitigates that resonance. You do not get that with the DFC. The DFC head in this original one here, one more time, if you look at that very carefully and compare it to what I just showed you, new one here, brand new, you can see that there is a night and day difference between those two heads. You got a lot more linkage going on here on the one on the left here than you have on this one right here. This one right here is the old one, and it has a lot less going on with it for cutting weight. And they thought cutting weight was a good deal. It is if you're going to go high speed. If you're going to go high speed, you're going to flip it around, and you're not going to like tootle around with it and hover it. You're not going to notice anything too much. You're going to notice that when you try to hover that, or you go into a lower speed and you start putting more load, because you actually put a load on it and you actually put more torque to an extent, but you're not going at a higher rate on that, and that's when you're going to start seeing the fluttering or the incorrections it could put out with that resonance. That resonance adds to more of a vibration. You won't see it a lot, but you'll notice something's just not right with it, and you get like a little wobble or wiggle, and you can't really tone it out too much. I mean, there's only so many parts you can replace. You can replace the I replaced the feathering shaft once. Thing I had a problem with it. I replaced the main shaft by taking it out. I ended up putting my main shaft back in because it wasn't bent, And I come to find out, I just researched that those heads do have a little bit of a out of roundness to them. They do spool, like when they spool up, they go out around a little bit, and it corrects itself as you get it in the air. But if you're looking down over your head of that helicopter when you're starting to slowly spool it up to see if you got anything bent in it, you'll see it wiggle, and it has an out like a little wiggle to it that you can't tone that out no matter what you do. That's resonance. You're not gonna get that out. So Jonas made a part of his video about that and why he did the M2 EVO, the first version of that, which I call the first gen EVO. Now this is I call the Gen 2 EVO. This new Mark II tones all of that out even further, because the head it didn't get a lot of vibration or anything. They just wanted to make it as perfect as they can get it, and this is about. This guy here is about as perfect as it gets. You don't get much more perfect than this. This is about as good as you're going to get it. The blades are even longer than my original. Not by a lot, but it's there. I mean, you can. Here's the original, and then you can see just how much more blade I have on. Here's the original. And then here's the new one. And that new one there, wow. It is like, yeah. There's, well, I'm trying to line them up bolt to bolt here. There we go. See if you can see that. And then you come over to here, you can see that there's a little bit more blade there. There's a little more blade here with this. They're both carbon fiber machines. Both carbon fiber. But like I said, that motor on this old one here, on the older one, and you see that new motor on there, and it doesn't look like it's showing up very well in there, but that is a bigger design. Like I said, there's differences to it. Like I don't think it's got metal on the, see, this is plastic. The new OMP flight controller is plastic. That one on the original one's metal. It's a metal case. So they cut down on certain areas and they added, to elsewhere. But at the end of the day, that's going to be a wicked machine, because you can tone things out of that. You can adjust it however you want without being told what you can and can't do. It's an open envelope for a helicopter. You can do whatever you want with it. So there's nothing telling you what you can and can't do, but I highly recommend that you fly it first out of the box, pretty much the way it comes. But you do what you want. I don't know how I want to hook that up yet. I want to hook it up to my I have an IX12, so I'd either hook it up to my IX12 and try it, or I'm going to bind it to a Zorro. I haven't decided yet. Everybody that seems to have these highly recommends taking advantage of the ELRS, because if they change things with the helicopter, it's going to take time for that to catch up with Futaba and Spectrum. You'll be able to take advantage of it firsthand, first time, as soon as the updates come out, because they're going to be updating things all the time, shutting certain sensors off on that, changing things, locking things out. So they're going to be doing learning curves as they fly on this thing. So I think it's going to be a really neat helicopter in the up and coming next several months to this next coming up this time next year. It's going to be making a lot of progress, and it's going to be something that I think everybody's going to benefit from if they pick it up. So I highly recommend, if you are an M2 fan like myself, and if you've been holding off on buying an M2 like I have, and you just wanted that next edge to get that next little glimpse of something, there's a reason they brought the M2 MK2 out. It's to better what they were going to go through to making the Evo where it is now. It just took progress and time, but in the long run, it's an amazing helicopter. And I'm not just saying that because it's something that you have to understand it. And I'm coming, like I said, from a few helicopters down from what this one is. But to tell you that I've had nothing but great expectations with this little helicopter right here, the M2. So I know if it can outdo or perform as well as what this one does, which I know it will, I will have no problems whatsoever with that down the road. I just don't know. I'm just going to hold off for a little bit to find out if I want to go with a Zorro with ELRS, or if I want to go ahead and just jump into my Spectrum radio and in the meantime just fly it and get it going. I just know that I won't be able to take advantage of a lot of the updates that will come out, soon and shortly. All of them if I can. I may not be able to get all the updates that I'd like to have included, because there's only certain things that maybe the Spectrum won't be able to cover. I don't know. They recommend, that's why they say if you have this and you can get the ELRS set up with it, I would probably recommend going that route. But again, it's not a bad helicopter to go with whatever you want to fly with. You just have to get the right protocol and the right adapter if you need an adapter for whatever it is you're running with it. But in the meantime, it does run with any of their radios, as long as you get the it recommends ELRS. That's what it says. But you can get, I think it's a CC 2500 and the 4-in-1, but it's all through the Zorro. But again, you probably have to buy an adapter to make that work with any of those other protocols. I know ELRS works perfectly, and I think that's what the TX16S is on, is ELRS. But yeah, I looked it up. Website recommends that you run it on ELRS if at all possible. But I will tell you one last time though, this is a really neat helicopter, and like I said, this is something that's, I think, been in the works for quite a bit, and for Jonas and everybody at OMP to bring it this far, this quick, I wouldn't say this quickly, but in this quality, it is an amazing little helicopter. Just from looking at it, it just looks like, man, I'm ready. This thing's ready to do something. And yeah, like I said, there was a video that Jonas and Bert did where they talked briefly about this little helicopter, and they've got nothing but good things to say about it. And guys like them bringing this to the table, and then like Jonas getting Bert into this, and Bert Kammerer, he flies anything and makes it look completely easy. And I know it's not, because he's got a lot of experience, but he can make anything look easy just watching what he does. But I'll tell you, watching the video and watching what they've done, and then diving down into the software and everything, it's a really good change of pace they did, going that next step and bringing the software to where it is. I think it's going to be a good match for the helicopter, and it's only going to get better from here with the next of their following of helicopter line, because I think all their helicopters, planes, and everything are going to follow suit to what this is doing. And it's kind of like in the starting phase of breaking it down the line further with more and more helicopters, and more not just that, but all their products coming into ELRS, if it's going to be something that can be flown in the air, and all these other things. So it's just a great time right now to get into the hobby and to really get OMP Hobby a chance to show what they can actually do, and get yourself out there and pick yourself up one and go fly. Like I said, I got my copy. I got mine at A-Main. You can go get it wherever you like. Like I said, I just found it wherever I could get it, and like I said, you can go get it wherever you can. It's not a bad helicopter for the price. I think I paid about $100 more for this than I paid for my original M2. My M2 was like $279 back in its day. I really don't like throwing prices out there, but I'll just tell you how much I paid. I think, if I remember, I paid $329.99 for this. That's about the price it's going for right now. And it's minus the remote, minus anything other than the battery with the helicopter and everything I've showed you with it. But I'll tell you what, the bind and fly, it looks extremely clean, extremely nice, and it's ready to go fly. So again, can't thank enough for the fellows over at A-Main for having the opportunity to have this in stock so I can get it. Like I said, if you guys are on the fence about buying an M2, like I said, it's probably one of my all-time all-time favorite helicopters to ever fly that I've ever dealt with. If you've been on the fence and you've seen anything about the Evo before it, the MK2 is not just another Evo coming out to replace it with just a few updates. It's a massive difference. I highly recommend you getting one. Get one if you can. Pick one up. Run to the store. Go to your local hobby store. Grab one. Request one if you can get it. If not, go on the sites. Go into OMP Hobby. Look up an MK2, M2. Pick out the color you want. They have it in white. Won't tell you wrong. You got the colors right here. You got the elegant white. You got, what is that, racing yellow? Yep, racing yellow. Charm orange is always, I paid homage to my orange one. And then you've got glamour red. I was really torn to getting the red one. Don't know if I might get an M1 down the road in the Evo, but we'll see. But the Evo M2, I got mine in the orange. Looks amazing. Looks about like my orange one does from the original the original line of M2s. Like I said, mine is a Gen 2, last of the carbon fiber stuff, and then they dumped out of that. And this was the last of the year before they went into, or not the year, but the last of the gens before they went into the Explorer. This is what they did away with when they went to the Explorer, and they were going into that new like the M2 has now. The Evo has that plastic flight controller difference. Mine's all aluminum. This is the Gen 1. Well, it's a Gen 2. But yeah, it's in the original design. But again, it's like I said, a really nice helicopter. It's gave me a lot of flight with no issues. Have no problems with it at all. Like I said, got nothing bad to say about it at all. Like I said, just one of those things where you just gotta have a little time, patience. This is what I had. I've been sitting on it for quite a while, and when I saw, like I said, the Evo come out, I was like, man, can they ever make it better than what they ever did? I don't think they ever will. And you can't say that, because then Jonas comes out with, him and his crew come out with this new rendition of the M2, and it's like, okay, it's another M2, and like, well, what'd they really do to it? And there wasn't a lot of videos coming out with it until he come out and he says what he says about it. And when he says, hey, we got this M2, it's from MK2, stay tuned we're going to have upcoming videos about this new helicopter product in our line. And I started following these videos that he did, and it is a lot of stuff, and that's a lot going on, mainly with that software. That software is next level. You can't put a price point on that. That's why this helicopter cost $100 more than it did. It's not just about the updates, the upgrades they did. It's the whole deal. It's the software, it's Bluetooth. It's taking all this into consideration with everything that you get. And it's not just another typical, it's another just a bump in the software, and it's running the same, OSF2 protocol or OSF2 software. This is OSF3, and they rewrote the whole thing from scratch. They deleted everything they had, and they brought out a whole new flight control software program, and they rewrote all of what they could on this helicopter from the ground up. And then Jonas took, from what he says, 6 months into the software, just writing everything. And then he said he took like 2 years fine-tuning it and adjusting it and everything from probably the first Evo, and bundling it in from that, learning things, and not bringing out this OSF3 right away. It took a while, but man, in the long run, that's a huge jump of difference between what this software is doing right now and what they had and what I just showed you. The one I have right before opening up today, that M2 is nice, but it's not in the same realm as OSF3. OSF3 is just, that's an operating system flight software that is third version of this from scratch, rewriting everything, making this helicopter fly the way you want, not the way someone else wants. So you have that luxury and that ability if you want to go that route. You have a helicopter with no walls and no barriers. So you can as long as you know what you're doing with it, with the adjustments you can do whatever you want with it. I think it's really cool. It's a neat idea. And again, go get yourself a copy of the MK2 and try it out. See what you think of it. Most people fly it out of the box. You won't find anything so far. I've looked. I wanted to hate this helicopter, which I don't want to hate anything, but I wanted to find someone who wanted to go and make gripes about it on like a Reddit or something. There's not. It's only been out for like 4 months. It came out in December of the end of last year, so that'd be of 2024, and we're in 2025 right now, and I'm now posting right now for towards the end of April here, so of 2025, and I'm gonna tell you, it's really cool to have this. It's definitely something different, but not something new. It's taking technology from one idea and then rewriting the software, and then with all the upgrades that they've done to this already, sharing it with the original, not the original, but from the M2, and then bringing the Evo of what they had where this is, and then putting it up to par to where it is now. It is a difference, I'll tell you that. So hats off again to Jonas, Bert Kammerer, with his time with Jonas and doing their collab on this Jonas's channel and everything. Those two guys that inspired me to get this, and thanks a lot for everybody who's involved in the M2 MK2 project, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Like I said, post, comment, rate, comment, subscribe. Do what you need to do if you want to stay in the loop with my channel. I got more to come, more things happening. I always try to drop a video when I can, when I'm available to do it. But like I said, go get yourself a new MK2 if you're you're able to do it. It's probably one of the best helicopters in its size, for what it can do, for the abilities it has. So go get yourself one, and be like another person on the channels, but nothing but great things to say about it. Now, like I said, I'll probably find someone down the road that'll have something not great to say about an MK2, but I haven't seen it yet. So pretty impressive to see a almost 5-month run of this helicopter, and no one has nothing bad to say about it. So I will say this, Jonas, I saw a video and also a Reddit where people have said that this helicopter that you did, this MK2, flies almost as great as a V-bar. Now, that's saying something about your software, man. So if you're seeing this, Jonas, man, that's my hat's off to you, man. And not trying to toot your horn, but the people are speaking about it, and to have certain people that flown this already, and they're saying that the EVO MK2 flies almost as flat, hovering, as a running. I wouldn't say hands off, but running as good as a V-bar. That also had me questioning and really looking at the helicopter. Wanted to add that in there too. Thanks a lot, guys. Catch you guys soon. Like I said, go check out the MK2 if you haven't. If you also, I don't know what simulators you might be able to put the MK2 on to try to see how it flies in a simulator, but really, I don't know how well it's going to fly on a simulator versus flying it in person. I would just say if you can go to a flight field and have someone maybe teach you, or get a couple minutes to see how, what it's about, and try to hover one at least. Maybe not flip it upside down, but at least see how well and stable this thing can track. You might be involved in maybe picking yourself up one, just from seeing how well it is. But like I said, check it out. MK2 EVO from OMP Hobby. Go get yourself one if you're interested, and if you're in the you know, the idea for a helicopter to replace something that you might have, or you're in the market to try to get a helicopter that will replace software that's just outdated and it just can't do what a Bluetooth helicopter can do. I feel funny just even talking about a Bluetooth helicopter. It's pretty funny. Video's going on to 40 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Catch you guys later. See you in the next one.